Hey guys, and welcome to the very first Zap Chats episode.
Zap Chats.
Zap Chats.
Zap Chats July.
We got everybody here for this first one. I'm Danny.
I'm Evan.
I'm Kaylee. Hey.
No. One at a time.
We're making a square.
So
Now you can go.
do we want to just start over?
No, we're not starting over.
This is beautiful. Are you kidding?
And I'm Seth.
All right, we're all here. It's the Zap Night hosts. All of us hosts.
Is this the first time we've all been together since we did the Wii Party games?
Oh yeah, I think so.
I think so. Yeah. Kaylee was on Skype with us once.
That's true. That was fun.
So yeah, this is the very first episode of what we're calling Zap Chats. Basically, it's just like a roundtable talk of whatever. This time, we're specifically going to be talking about our history in video games. So I know me and Kaylee, our very first like intro episode, we kind of talked about our history, but I thought it would be a good way for everyone to get to know Seth and Evan a little bit better, and I don't know, just to chit chat. It doesn't have to stay on that topic, but you know, whatever
We're here
happens, happens.
to Zap Chat.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. So, first off, what's everybody been playing?
Well,
Our last episode was Mario 1. That was our last review episode. So, what have you guys been playing?
well, besides Half-Life 2, obviously, we've been playing Super Mario Maker 2. I know I have.
Yeah, I picked
Fine.
it up too.
Yeah, I finished Half-Life 2 a little while ago, and I picked up Mario Maker 2. I've been playing through that. And I've also been replaying Kingdom Hearts 3.
Nice.
Since the last time we did it, get another. I'm playing it on the PlayStation this time instead of the Xbox. So.
You're gonna platinum it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I did that on the Xbox. May as well double up.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been trying to play Spyro. I may or may not have been playing Minecraft earlier today.
Minecraft's on the rise again.
It is.
It's
It's
becoming
coming
really
back.
popular.
Well, they just
again.
released their newest. What was like an up? It wasn't an upgrade, but a new release of like some like new not monsters.
They
but
have like a big version upgrade. Didn't
yeah,
they?
there you go. Yeah, so they've had a
they
whole
have
bunch of content
new
added.
stuff.
Big update.
Yeah, I've been wanting to try it again and play it, but it's like, I don't know if it's enough to justify sitting down and playing for like another podcast episode or just like trying to play it on a back burner, but it's like, I have so many other games that I'm playing right now.
But Minecraft.
I know. So I've been playing Spyro. I had a stream session just the other day of Spyro 3, which is what me and Kaylee, what our next episode is going to be. And then I also need to start playing Final Fantasy VI, because that's like a back burner game. Yeah, you should get on that.
I should probably start doing that.
We're going to be reviewing that
But
soon.
Minecraft.
I know. But then I've also picked up Horizon Zero Dawn again, just as a whenever I have time sort of stream. And then we got Mario Maker 2. I played a little bit of that last night. And
Minecraft.
No, I haven't played Minecraft. No, I think that's about it. I mean, I have played like this Gato Robo game on the Switch. It's insanely fun. It's like,
Is it with cats?
it's with a cat who gets into a robot, and then it's basically like Samus.
Huh.
And like, it's that same world. It's like Super Metroid, but like you're a cat.
Super Catoid.
How shocking would it have been if in the first Metroid, after you beat it, it turns out Samus isn't a woman, she's a cat.
Cat lady.
That would be a lot more of a shocker.
That franchise would not be where it's at if that's the case.
That's true.
I think it would
Yeah.
have surpassed.
I don't know. I
man.
think it would just have a completely different fan base.
Awesome.
Zero Suit Gato.
Oh, there you go.
So let's talk about our gaming history a little bit. Let's start with Evan. What got you into gaming?
So I had watched my dad play Medal of Honor Frontline when I was younger and on the original Xbox, and he let me and my sisters play Jet Set Radio Future because we really couldn't play shooters all that much. But I mean, it wasn't that long, and he didn't really care. He's like, "Oh, here's Halo. Here's Medal of Honor." I played that, and I really enjoyed it, much to my mother's dismay. And she ended up getting me Half-Life 2, unbeknownst to her what Half-Life 2 was, and that it was probably worse in terms of like language and stuff. But I was a bit. I mean, it's still not that bad. So I ended up playing those pretty much all throughout my childhood. Really, I didn't really upgrade console-wise. I was pretty much on the original Xbox until like 2010 when Mom and my stepdad Jake, he got me and my sisters a 360 with Rock Band and Halo 3. And around that time, I also got into Call of Duty. So I started playing that a little bit more competitively with my friends until 2014 when I decided to start getting more of the older stuff, starting with the PlayStation 2. I got the original Xbox back. We had a Wii when I was a little bit younger, but we didn't really play it that much. But I got that in there. You actually got me a PlayStation 1.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And we ended up also getting Final Fantasy 7. And then you and Trey actually were the people who convinced me to start playing games like Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy.
Right, yeah.
And I actually started really getting into those games.
That's because every chance I get, I'm like, you should play Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, it's like my go-to, like, hey, if you're going to play video games, try Final Fantasy.
Right. And so I 7 was the first one I played, and I actually really enjoyed it. And then I played, 9, 12, and since then I've played like 8 and 13, and then most recently 15, and 10 as well. And then, so I started collecting all these systems until 2016, and I finally got my PlayStation 4, which was terrible. It was an Uncharted 4, like, limited edition console.
Oh, yeah, and you had problems with that, like, crazy.
It would overheat. I actually had to... So I opened it up, and I took out the power supply, and I put the power supply of the original Xbox in there. And then it worked, kinda, but it still was overheating. So I actually had to... my PlayStation was sitting on the ground for a little while, and I had to give it ventilation by putting my 3 DS cases underneath it, so it could ventilate under.
Some under airflow.
Yeah, so that worked out. I ended up replacing it recently with a Slim. And then I just been kind of building up consoles. I have Xbox One and then like N64, GameCube, Dreamcast. So now I'm just kind of collecting consoles at this point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. What about you, Seth?
Well, I did not start out at such a young age playing games. My dad had always had this PlayStation 2 Slim for as long as I can remember. Of course, he'd let me play every once in a while. He wasn't much of a gamer, but he had a lot of sports games, racing games, four-wheeler games, but he did buy, when the SpongeBob movie came out, the SpongeBob movie game.
Nice.
And that is the first video game I can ever remember playing. Still haven't beaten it to this day.
You should.
I should do something
Should be the
with
next
that.
one.
But yeah, it was just all PlayStation 2 games up until like 2008 when we got our Wii, because my parents really wanted to play the new Super Mario Brothers that was coming to Wii, because they were Mario fans back in the day. And then after that, I owned my first console, which was a DS Lite. And that's kind of what got me into gaming. In 2010 is when I really considered myself a true gamer at that point. I don't know what that means, but
It means you could use PictoChat, and that's when you know you made it.
I got like right in the prime of its life too, because that's what everyone was doing. Playing Mario Kart, Pokemon, on field trips and everything.
Yeah, the DS Lite was huge.
In class, after like the teacher was done.
Yeah. Because like the PS2 and the Wii, like I did play on them before, but they were like family consoles, like everyone played on them.
Yeah, it was more in the living room than...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So needless to say, I was always more of a social gamer. Not the same kind of social gamer that people see nowadays, like playing Fortnite and stuff.
Right.
Just like if I was playing to have fun and have fun with other people. So after that, I just started building up my library. Got a 360, the Xbox One after that. Actually, I did get a 3DS when it came out. I still got it to this day. It's one of my favorite consoles.
3DS is good.
Yeah. And just been building up the library since then.
Awesome.
collecting.
Yep.
No, nowhere near what you got, but
Yeah. I'm sure Kaylee can attest to this. We're the complete opposite when it comes to social gaming. It's like, if you can lock me in a room with a bunch of video games for a few hours, I'd be perfectly content.
Yeah.
Or for days, weeks even. Like, I don't even need a bathroom. Just leave me in there with a video game and I'll figure it out.
well, don't get me wrong. I do like a good single player game like Fallout or Skyrim, something like that. But if someone's like, hey, you want to go play such and such, and I'm not even really into the game, I'll definitely go play it with them.
Right.
But yeah, I do like a good story.
It's kind of funny because growing up, I remember, like, for Pokemon, for a random example, I guess, how you had to interact to get certain things. I hated that.
That was the worst part.
I hated
it
having
still
to have
is
a
with, like,
friend to do
Pokemon
that.
Go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now it's easier because the internet's more prevalent, but back then, I was 8, so I mean, you know.
I think that's the biggest difference, because there's a bit of a age difference between Seth and Evan and me and Kaylee.
Right.
So, like, we grew up, like, pre-internet and like, social gaming was a thing. Like, we were couch gamers, you know? Like, if we had a party, it was a couch party. Like, you invited your friends over and we all sat and played, you know, Mario Kart or whatever. But you know, now people are growing up with this, like, online social aspect of it, and it's completely different. And I like the idea, but I don't have the friends. So
Well, I'd say online gaming's more convenient.
it is,
Like,
yeah,
you
absolutely.
don't want to travel out like all the time just to sit down and play good old Super Smash
Well, and
Bros.
it's
but-
awesome that, you know, at this point, I'm meeting people. Our Instagram is growing pretty well, and I'm meeting people who are overseas and people who are in completely different time zones, and it's like, at any point they could say, hey, let's play Mario Kart, and I could just jump on my, you know, Switch and start playing Mario Kart with somebody across the world.
Well, on
like,
top
that's
of that,
insane.
Now they have it where you can randomize. You just can grab a random stranger. And
Right, yeah,
and
that's
we
true.
didn't really have that growing up because, again, the internet was, I mean, it was up and coming, of course, but it wasn't as, not everyone had the internet growing up. So,
Right.
I don't know, it's interesting, just a couple of years difference makes, honestly, because it's not like we're that far.
No, I mean,
have an
maybe,
age difference,
oh,
so.
how old are you, Evan?
19.
19. I'm 20, or I'm 32. I'm also dyslexic, so
Dyslexic.
but yeah, I am 32. So yeah, there's a bit of an age difference there. So it's amazing what that'll, you know, how you know, a decade would change stuff,
Yeah.
you know. So why don't you go next, Kaylee?
Well, I mean, our story is
Yeah, but I
fairly
didn't want to talk for both of us.
Well, I can't remember what my first gaming memory was. I don't know if it was playing on the regular Nintendo, like we would play at our grandma's. Yeah. You told me this. I didn't realize this. I always assumed that when we went over to grandma's, that's just where the Nintendo was. But according to you, we actually gave it to her so that we had something to play when we visit her. I didn't know that at all. But I don't know if you remember this, but I remember Dad playing A Bug's Life, like a game like that.
On the PS1.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I don't ever remember him playing games otherwise, but I remember him playing A Bug's Life. But yeah, so I guess from what I remember, which you remember it differently probably, is we played the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo at grandma's until,
I guess maybe it would help if we told people that Kaylee and I are brother and sister. So like,
What?
yeah, I know.
oh my gosh.
I'm related to you, and I didn't even
Reveal.
know that one.
Yeah. So a lot of her story is my story or hand-me-downs from me.
Yeah. I think the first system I actually owned was a GameCube. I might have inherited, I don't remember, did I inherit the PS2 from you?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
In any case, you actually got me my GameCube. I played the heck out of Animal Crossing. Oh my gosh.
I probably got you a GameCube to play Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I think you did.
It seems
was for
like-
Christmas, I think.
Yeah, it seems like when me and Lori met, and we started playing Animal Crossing on the GameCube, and we were like blown away at how intricate that game was. So it was like, Kaylee, you need to get on this. This is amazing. This is so you. And that wouldn't surprise. I don't remember this, but it wouldn't surprise me if we did.
You had got me that, and after you had actually gotten me that, I was really wanting Twilight Princess really bad, and I think you actually got me that too. I think you don't remember any of this.
No, I don't.
I think the first game, I was telling you about this just earlier, I think the first game I ever pre-ordered by myself was Dissidia.
Oh, yep.
And you would also, apparently you were my biggest influence, because you had convinced me to get my own PSP so that I could play Crisis Core.
Yep. Yeah, I do remember that.
But I think
I pre-ordered you a copy of Kingdom Hearts 2 as well.
Yeah.
Because you really liked Kingdom Hearts 1, and yeah.
Man, what a blast from the past.
I know, yeah.
I think for me, we have our own like different tastes. Like, I like Animal Crossing and stuff. We both liked Pokemon. We grew up playing Pokemon, especially during like its golden age,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we played games a lot, when our parents were going through the most kids have probably experiences when they're going through their divorce. We kind of escaped into games.
Video games is a nice escape.
But yeah, Final Fantasy was always a staple in our growing up. You remember playing 7 and reading the characters.
I don't remember that.
Oh my gosh.
I don't remember that.
I loved that. That's how I found out that I was a better reader than you.
Doesn't take much. I've gotten better since, by the way.
I'm sure you have.
But reading out loud is just not my strong suit.
I don't know why you did it. It's one of my memories that I remember playing 7 with you.
That's so funny.
You played 9 at one point. I think it was a pirated copy.
Yeah, it was.
That was my favorite Final Fantasy
Oh my gosh.
ever.
I think that pirated copy of 9 ruined my taste for Final Fantasy 9. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Final Fantasy 9, but yeah, okay, so the story is, my dad bought me a PlayStation 1. Well, okay, I got a PlayStation 1. I had it for the longest time, and my dad said, well, this guy at work can put a mod chip in it, and I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. So he did that, and then Final Fantasy 9 came out, and somebody that I went to school with bought the game like right as it came out, and our parents didn't want to buy it for me right out of the gate, so it was like, $50, $60.
Yeah.
So the friend of mine at school ended up burning me a copy of his, and I threw it in, and it worked until you got to the cutscenes, and it would like skip really bad, and we ended up like beating the PlayStation trying to get it to play and trying to get it to read the games. It was terrible, terrible, terrible. So I don't think we ever finished that round. Like, eventually, I think we stopped at like disc 2. Like, after we got to disc 2, it was like unplayable, so we just never did it. And I think my dad ended up giving my PlayStation back to the guy to unmod it so I could actually play games again.
I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was just horrible experience with modding my PlayStation 1.
And 9 was the one that...
9 was the one
really?
that, like... Because after 9, like, we beat it so much trying to get it to play these discs that it wouldn't play anything anymore. So, yeah, it was not good.
That was my favorite Final... It must have just been, like, at the cusp of our parents' divorce.
Yeah, it was.
I think that was what I was delved into, and it's just ingrained on my mind.
Yeah, sure. So, my history with video games is mostly influenced by my uncle. So before Kaylee, well, not necessarily before Kaylee, but I grew up and spent a lot of time with my uncle, who's only 5 years older than me. And we played everything. I mean, he had a Super Nintendo before I did. He had a PlayStation before I did. So everything he played as I was growing up was my, like, big game. So, like, we started playing, Donkey Kong Country. I loved Donkey Kong Country then. We started playing Mario World. I loved Mario World. We started playing Chrono Trigger. I loved Chrono Trigger.
I remember that.
To this day, Chrono Trigger and, like, Final Fantasy VII are in a constant struggle of my favorite role-playing games. Just, they're both such great games. But yeah, and then Final Fantasy VII came out, and it was like, I was playing Chrono Trigger when 7 came out, and my uncle was playing Final Fantasy VII, and I'm like, I want to play this game. And he's like, well, you're too young for that.
Chrono Trigger?
But yet I could play Chrono Trigger. No, I was too young for Final Fantasy VII.
Sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, after I beat Chrono Trigger, well, I didn't like necessarily beat it, but I got like really far, and he let me start playing Final Fantasy VII. And then one year for my birthday, my parents bought Final Fantasy VII for me for my birthday, like I already said. And yeah, it's just been, that's been my game. And that's really what made me want to start collecting games. It was like the Final Fantasy series was the game. Like 10-2 was the very first game that I pre-ordered, and I sat in the parking lot up at Game Crazy.
Oh, when that was a thing.
When Game Crazy was a thing. I sat in the parking lot for like hours waiting for them to open and just excited to start this game. And I remember bringing it home and throwing it in the PS2 and watching it boot up and watching that crazy pop song and intro. You know, it's 10-2 isn't that bad of a game.
No,
like, people give it a lot of crap, but it's like 10-2, the battle system was decent, the graphics were really good. It was really just the like girliness of it that I think people hated. But yeah.
You girls.
It's like a chick flick, but for a video game.
It was like Powerpuff Girls, like Final Fantasy VII
Adult
or Final
Powerpuff
Fantasy
Girls.
version. Yeah, it kind of was. YRP in position. It's go time. Yeah, it's go time, girls. And then that music started up. Oh man, it's awesome. The graphics were amazing though, and that's
true.
what hooked me in. I remember watching that for the first time and just my jaw dropping at how amazing the graphics were. Now you play Final Fantasy 15 and it's just like, they could do better. You know, they don't look real enough.
I do want to say one thing about 10-2. There is a song that they sang at one point, stuck in my head all the time.
1,000 words? No?
It's the "What Can I Do For You" song.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yep.
I'll just walk around saying
What
that.
can I do for you?
Exactly. I should just make that my ringtone at this point.
That's so funny. So yeah, I mean, that's been pretty much it as far as my history goes. At one point, I had a bunch of games, and it dawned on me that all these games were worth a bunch of money, so I started selling them all.
Oh no.
And like 2, 3, 4 years later,
Regrets.
I'm like wanting to buy them all back because, you know, here I sold all of them, and yeah, I'm trying to grow my collection back. I'm still recovering from that. I had a few games that I still need that I used to have, but all the games that I have in my collection, and it's well over 2,000 video games and more when it comes to systems and whatever else. Where was I going with that?
Words are hard. That's why it's Zap Chats.
Just it's building that collection is just like I'm only getting it from thrift shops and from garage sales. So in all reality, a lot of the stuff that I have, yeah, it's worth more than I actually paid for it. Like, I'll get a tub of video games for, you know, $50, but I'll get so many games that are worth so much more than that. So that's how I'm building my collection back at this point. Like, I really don't go out specifically buying, especially retro games. I don't go out buying retro games unless I'm really looking for that one game.
Right.
But that rarely happens. Everything that I have is just like a coincidence that I pick up.
A miracle.
I'm happy about. Yeah. There are some that I've picked up and I'm just like, I can't believe this was in this pile.
You know what I think is really funny? You've told me how you have dreams of finding things like that.
Oh my gosh. So many times I've had dreams where I'll go into GameStop and they will have like not locked the door. And there's nobody there, and I'm like, do I steal everything? And then I start, like, pulling games off the wall, putting them in tubs, then I'll wake up, and I'm like, dang it, I wanted those. Yeah, I've had multiple dreams like that.
That's the sign of an addiction.
No, it's not. I just really like video games, that's
like
all.
I could stop collecting at any time.
In all reality, in all reality, I would be, if anything happened to where I needed money, I would be more than happy to just sell everything off. Like, I'm not that attached to the games. Like, there are some that I would absolutely keep regardless of my situation, but like a lot of these games, if I had to sell them, it wouldn't hurt me a whole lot.
Homeless Danny with his copy of Final Fantasy VII.
I'm curled up in a box, like, at least I have you.
I'll never let you go.
Well, at least you'd have your Mario Maker lunchbox with you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'll keep it in there.
Fail.
For a change.
There you go.
It's sad that I can picture this perfectly.
Same, yeah. Same.
Oh, man.
I actually kind of had a similar story to selling off collections that you come to regret.
Yeah.
Around 2013, I had my Xbox for a couple years. And around that time, everyone was getting more into the mature games because we were, hitting teenage years, stuff like that. So everyone's like looking down on me for playing Pokemon and Mario and stuff. So I sold off a lot of those games.
Oh, it's sad.
Come to regret it.
Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
A few years down the line, I realized that maybe shooter games isn't all there is to life, and I miss those games.
Yeah.
And, I've recovered most of my collection, but
It's funny how being into video games was like a bad thing in school, and then it turned into like this awesome thing, like, oh, you're into video games? Me too. Where nobody used to talk about that when I was in school.
It's kind of like the joke, like how people always joke about the quote-unquote gamer girl who are like, haha, I play video games, and then she's like holding the controller upside down or something stupid. It's kind of like that mentality. It kind of evolved in that mentality, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have to say, video gaming, like, in general, has gone through different phases.
Oh, yeah. Well, as it has for all of us personally. I mean, I've gone through a huge Final Fantasy phase. I've gone through a huge Pokemon phase. All that. It evolves as you grow, your personality, just what you're into. Like, right now, I'm a huge, like, open world kind of guy. Like, I want more Horizon Zero Dawn so much.
Right.
But
should play Fallout.
yeah, there's a lot of games that I need to try and play that I just don't have time for because we have other Zap Night type stuff going on.
Or, adult life.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You were naming off all the games you were playing. I'm like, where do you find the time?
It's more like one night I'll play this and another night I'll play something else and another night I'll play something else. So it's like juggling everything is kind of difficult. I really don't like playing too many games at once because I like to have my storylines very straightforward. So like when I start Final Fantasy VI, I want just Final Fantasy VI. Like I don't want anything else like clouding that story. I mean, Spyro is Spyro.
I would love to see you mix up Spyro and Final Fantasy VI.
It's really just like I'm not gonna play like two story heavy games, at the same time. Where like pulling in Horizon into the mix isn't that big of a deal because I've already played Horizon. Like I already know it pretty well, so I don't really have to think about the storyline. I can just play it for what it is. Go from quest to quest, not really thinking about it. Where like Final Fantasy VI, I want to sit down and focus and play this game and read it and enjoy it for the story that it's trying to tell me. So yeah.
I've always been more of a casual gamer, just going into games that I can pick up anytime, really.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that. I mean, that's a good. I like that too. I like the idea of being able to just pick up a game and play whenever, but I have trouble committing because playing it in such a long term, I don't know.
Are you going to play the new Animal Crossing with me?
No, but Lori is definitely going to buy it. So and we can have multiple, like, accounts in, so like I'll probably be in her town, just I'll play it.
Can't commit to that
more casually.
I have to say those games are pretty nice, especially for someone like me who I want to just play something for like an hour,
like veg out,
and not have to worry about committing time to grinding on my levels or something. I just go build a freaking house and call it a day or something. I
don't know. I just don't have time for that. I mean.
Hey, nobody got time for that.
It's just, you know, if I'm going to sit down and play a game for 10 minutes, what's the point, you know? I want to sit down and play a session of video games, and I want it to be something that I can fully invest myself in. Where if I'm going to play a game for 10 minutes, I'm going to take out my phone and play like a random puzzle game or something blah. I don't know. What?
Nothing.
Oh.
Well, what I meant by that is just I was never really into the competitive online multiplayer games that
yeah.
are really prevalent now, but I'd always just been, you know, oh, we're going for a car ride. Do you want to come? Like, sure. Can I bring my DS?
Right.
Yeah. Play Pokemon for an hour or two.
Yeah.
You know, I remember Seth had kind of brought something up where the kids were bringing in like their, was it the DS Lite? I don't remember, one of the DSs. I remember seeing that in other kids. I don't think that was ever like in my school. Like the kids didn't have theirs with them ever.
We had Game Boys growing up, Game Boy Colors.
Right, and I do remember that, but I was so little then that they didn't bring it into elementary school.
Yeah, for me it was like middle school era for me, or like late elementary, early middle school, and the Game Boy Color was like a big deal. But video games were so outlawed, like so heavily outlawed that you only played it on the bus. So the only time that I really had a chance to play it was the like 15-minute bus ride.
That's how you got your Game Boy stolen?
It was, yeah. Yeah, I was ticked.
I had my Game Boy stolen in Chicago. I had played all the way up there, and I was playing, what was I playing? It was Medal of Honor Underground, which is a terrible port to the Game Boy Advance. But I was playing it because that's all I had. And my dad was like, "Oh, just leave it in the car." I was like, "Okay, I'll leave it in the car." And then we come back, we have a good time. We come back, I just want to, play before I go to bed, and it's gone. My Game Boy, Anissa's Game Boy.
Like, did you guys like not lock the door or something?
No,
or?
someone actually like got into the car.
Breaks into a car to just steal 2 Game Boys.
I think
Steal children's Game
I don't know.
Boys.
I think they were probably looking for something else, and they just saw that.
Why
like,
did they steal the entire car?
Yeah.
I don't know. But
it's easier to sell off a Game Boy.
yeah,
than it is
but it was like devastating because
oh yeah,
so good.
absolutely.
But my dad came through and he got us more Game Boys.
Nice.
Were these Game Boys big enough to fit in your pocket?
No, it was the SP. I could have fit it. That's what I wanted to do. But it was like, I'll just leave it in the car.
It was more likely to get stolen in the car than in your pocket.
Right. Yeah.
So my stolen story. I used to store my Game Boy in like the front part of my backpack. Well, as I was walking through the bus to get to my seat, somebody had opened up my backpack and taken the Game Boy out. And when I got to my seat, I realized that it was gone because obviously I pull it out and play it while I'm on the bus. And I was livid. Like, I was so angry. I was yelling at kids on the bus. The bus driver was like trying to figure out what happened and didn't have the patience to deal with all the kids. So then,
angry child.
Then
on his
after
bus.
the girl who stole it, after she got off the bus, somebody was like, "Oh yeah, it was her," and I'm like, "Why didn't you tell me?" Oh, I was so furious. I'm sure I don't remember exactly what happened, but I'm sure that my parents bought another one for me. I'm pretty sure I didn't get it back, but yeah, I was really angry. I think I had Pokemon Silver too in it, and my Pokemon. Yeah, I know. Everybody's like, "Dude, Pokemon Silver for me has
game.
it's been through a lot.
That's rough.
I've lost it like 2-3 times. I've had to rebuy it 2 or 3 times. It's been a mess."
The remake of that game was the first game I owned.
Nice.
It came with my DS. It was Soul Silver.
Yep.
That was a good
Had
game.
the Pokewalker. I still got that same Pokewalker.
I ended up trading my copy of Soul Silver to Ronnie. You remember Ronnie?
I remember Ronnie.
For Mario Kart.
That was not a good trade. Especially Soul Silver is still selling at GameStop for $44.
Yeah.
You know me. I was never. And plus, I was like 11 or something like that. So I mean, I wasn't that smart back then.
You know, I never traded my games until I met Brandon. Like, he would trade it in for money to get more games, and I just wanted to hold. I still have a freaking old copy of Save the Homeland for Harvest Moon. I'll trade in for like a cent. I might have to pay them a cent at this point.
At some point for a Zap Chat conversation, I want to sit down and talk about trading and the price hike of video games because it's outrageous. I know everybody in the room is just like getting tense because we all feel the pain. But yeah, that's I want to talk about that a little more detail. But yeah,
the death of the game store.
Man, I don't go to GameStop. Let's just say that. So let's wrap it up there. I don't go to GameStop's dead to me, and we're done. No, I am gonna wrap it up there. It's been a while. Thanks guys for hanging out. Thank you all so much for listening. This is, like I said, the first Zap Chats. We're planning on doing this every month. It's gonna be released on the 7th of every month. We have a whole new, well, not a whole new lineup of podcast episodes, but we have 2 new podcast series. Yeah, so this is the first one of the new ones, and then we have another new one on the 21st, which is all...
Or is it unnew?
It's unnew, yes, for sure. But that's more going to be for the thrift shop games. So we'll talk a little bit more about that on the 21st. Coming up next is going to be Seth and Evan. You guys are going to be talking about Half-Life 2. Yep. You guys finished it, so yeah, we're going to be reviewing that soon.
Oh boy, we finished it.
Oh yeah, all right.
Check it out.
All right.
So yeah, that episode will be out on the 15th, so check that out. Obviously, go to our website, ZapNight.com, where you can see everything we've got going on. And subscribe to our social media. We were all over the place. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter for some reason. I only use Twitter to like forward stuff from Instagram to Twitter just because it does that. So it's like, I guess.
Do you have any followers on Twitter?
I think I have like 3.
I was gonna say I didn't even know you had a Twitter.
Yeah, I've got a Twitter. I never use it. So yeah, that's
everyone knows about the Instagram though. That's
Instagram
very
is blowing up.
popular.
I'm almost to 2,000 followers on Instagram.
Wow,
which is a lot of people to me, considering like 6 months ago I had less than 100.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
It's insane. I guess I don't know what happened, but it was like I started posting pictures daily, and it just.
well, I guess that could be a testament to how gaming's grown too.
Oh yeah,
Like
absolutely.
gaming's popular, and it's more in the mainstream now.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
For better and worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Price hike.
Another podcast.
I know, yeah. We'll talk about it later. So again, thank you guys
continued.
so much for listening, and we will catch you guys on the next one.
Bye.